Naveen, you are the creator of VIOME, and people know you for all of the work that you've done to help people with their microbiome, with their health markers. But sometimes what people really want to know is what makes Naveen Naveen every day. What are the things that you do every morning, every day of your life that give you that drive to serve humanity the way you have?
Well, I think to me, the number one thing is to remain intellectually curious. The day you stop learning is the day you start dying. Right? So to me, it is about every single day. What am I doing that is going to make me better intellectually, emotionally, spiritually? And what am I doing that's going to make our fellow humans' life better in terms of whatever the work I'm doing, whether it's in work that's going to help their health or something that's going to help with their life.
That is so beautiful. And I appreciate that because I think all medicine, all strategies, all testing, all technology is sacred
Yeah.
because the people behind it have the intention to help humanity. And you definitely are doing that. Another question I have for
Yeah.
you, I love when I hear you talk about your children
Mhm.
and how you chose to raise your children. And yesterday I had the blessing of seeing you and Priyanka
Mhm.
and Dave on the stage,
Yeah.
and you are so proud of her. Can you just give people a little bit of insight on your theory on what you did for your kids and what you believe kids actually need now so they can thrive in their life?
Well, at the end of the day, there are a couple of things here, right? One is that it's as a parent or educator or as a teacher, our job as a parent is not to take them to the water and make them drink. Our job is to make them thirsty. And the way you make someone thirsty is to give them that curiosity, the intellectual curiosity. Because once they develop that curiosity, they will always learn. They'll always find their own water and they will drink it. And that means in terms of how do you create the intellectual curiosity in your own children, there are many ways, right? One is instead of reading them a story, can you co-create stories together? So when they were young, I would ask them, instead of reading them a story, I would say, can you tell me a story about a red chair and a woman wearing a blue girl and sitting in a golden lounge, right? Can you tell a story about that? And the idea is to take desperate concepts and can you connect them together in a way that allows the neural connections to happen that has never happened before. So it allows you to think differently. When they would say, hey, Dad, look at the beautiful blue sky, instead of telling them, yep, that's indeed beautiful, you can actually use that to say, there is no sky. Sky is simply a figment of our imagination. It's a blue light that scatters, and we call that a barrier called sky. And by the way, there is no color blue in nature. Is simply the electromagnetic waves or the photons that are hitting our retina and our neocortex, the visual cortex, create that color perception of the color. If the color doesn't exist, and it's not about teaching them science, what you have just done is given them a way to think that even the thing they are 100% certain about, they're looking with their naked eye. What if even that is wrong? What if that is not true? And that allows them to actually challenge every preconceived conception that people have. And this is one of the many ways you can start to raise your children that actually grow up to not only be curious. The other thing is to redefine what success means. The success should never be measured by how much money they have. Success is measured by how many lives they are able to improve while they're still alive, right? And that measure of success, now they are actually going to go out and solve problems that benefit the fellow humans.
That is so beautiful because we do live in a society today, kind of like what's in it for me, right? And I think that if more parents teach their children, one, what you're saying, how to actually think and how they can serve humanity, we change the world or change a billion lives, like you
Yeah.
always say. And another question for you is, what does your morning look like? How do you start your day? Are there things that you do? Do you meditate? Do you exercise? What does a morning in Naveen's life look like?
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, coming back to the children, it's not just leaving the better world for our children. It's also about leaving the better children for the world, because then the society is going to continue to come and thrive. Now, in terms of my habit, this is really one of the dumbest questions people ask, to be honest with you. And here's why. Because habits don't make people, right? It is how they think what makes them. So, for example, if someone says, I want to be successful like Tony Robbins, and you want to follow his habit. He takes an ice bath every day. You can take an ice bath 3 times a day. You're not going to become Tony Robbins, right? So it's not following the people's habit. It is the books that the 7 habits of successful people. It's stupid. It is the 7 ways the successful people think. That is really the value. So, in terms of thinking, I look at the problem not the way it is, but what it can be. So every time you look at the thing, you don't say, this is how the world is. You say, what can I make the world to be? So focus on what you can change and what you want to change rather than what it is. So you focus on solving the problems you see rather than saying, hey, why can't someone solve this problem? You need to own it and say, what can I do to solve this problem?
That's amazing. So, do we see a book in the future called The Seven Thoughts or The Seven Ways of Thinking?
As a matter of fact, there is a book that's coming out. It's called Counterintuitive, which says what are the unconventional principles of thinking about success in life, business, and parenting.
Amazing. And when will we see that book?
The
Maybe
book is actually going to coming out in the next 4 weeks.
amazing, guys. So stay tuned for that book, because if you ever get a chance to hear Naveen Jain speak, it will change your life. It will change the way you think, and it might change your microbiome too.
Well, thank you so much.